So in this video I'm going to be making this crossbow. It's kind of a revision of my first one. It has a free floating design and a safety, as you'll see in these next clips. Started out by sketching the layout of the design. Then I took it to the bandsaw and cut it out. Then I went over everything with a round over bit. Then I rounded it further with 80 grit sandpaper. Alright guys, so here's the trigger system I made. It's on the outside right now because I wanted to make sure that it works correct before I drill out the cavity for it. But basically I sanded it to 3000 grit and it has a safety right here. So whenever I cut this pin, I'm going to put a bar in right here and that'll act as the safety. So whenever this is being cocked, it'll move the bar back over the pin, and if the pin is covered like this, the trigger can't be pulled. So that's the safety mechanism. Here I'm drilling out the cavity with my drill press. You can see that every time I drill a hole, I just shift it over in the vise. Now for the more unique part of the design. This is actually a new technique for me, but it actually turned out really well. Basically what it is you burn the wood to a charcoal and then you brush it all off, and what's left is the grain pops out and you can actually feel the grain. After brushing off the charcoal here, I'm just sanding it. Alright guys, so basically all I did here was I cut out a piece of 1/8 inch aluminum and I sanded it all the way to 3000 grit. I made a little notch right there, and then I just glued it on. So halfway through building the project, I decided I needed a router table, so I just ordered this 1/4 inch thick piece of plexiglass, and I'm going to integrate it into the table corner over there after I clean all this up. So this actually took around 4 hours longer than expected because I did it by hand, but it's done now. Here I'm making a dado with my homemade router table I just made. Alright, so here's the groove I just cut out. And I cut this little piece of aluminum, bent it a little bit, sanded that to 3000 grit, and I'm ready to attach the piece. For the foot stirrup, I just took a piece of aluminum and bended it with my vise, nothing too complicated. So here it is all sanded down. Next up is the staining. Starting out with this wood conditioner, and then I'll go to this gun stain, and then I'm going to finish it with wipe on poly. Here's when I put on my whisker biscuit, and I also threw on the receiver. So here's a video of me stringing the crossbow. For the cams, they're just garage door pulleys, and the limbs are made out of carbon fiber. The only pieces I didn't build in this video were the cams, the whisker biscuit, and the scope. Everything else is homemade. Alright guys, so here's the finished crossbow. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just glad to be done with it though. This thing was a pain to do. But I'm super proud of it. The finish came out super nice. The grain. I'm just pretty proud. Here is a clip from the next video, which of course we'll be shooting it and sighting it in, so stay tuned for that.